What's good? It's your boy 2K here. Shout out to the movement and everybody who's moving with us. Also, shout out to the whole Three Kings boxing staff, man. We really cooking over there. Shout out to all our sponsors and everybody who's supporting us. For this one, man, I had to take a little bit of time out. I wanted to talk about the Tevin Farmer versus Billy Dib fight, and then I want to cap the video speaking on the statements that Gervonta Tank Davis made a couple of days ago that we reported over on 3kingsboxing.com. Now, this morning I was putting up an article about 6 o'clock in the morning. I was putting up an article detailing Sarissakis Rungvisai's next fight. He will be defending his WBC 115-pound title in Thailand against a cat by the name of Iran Diaz in October, right? Now, I'm putting that article up, and I get a notification on my phone from the ESPN Plus app saying that Billy Dib versus Tevin Farmer getting ready to start. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot the fight was in Australia, which is a day and some odd hours ahead of us. So I'm like, shit, nigga, let me get my goddamn britches out. You know what I'm saying? Iron these britches and watch this fight. And that's exactly what I did. Fight came on like at 6:30 in the morning, real early. And it was a good fight. You know what I'm saying? I really wanted to catch it because I wanted to see if Tevin Farmer had looked a bit different than he did against Kenichi Ogawa in his last fight. I think it was December of last year, right? Now, in that fight, a lot of people thought he won it. It was his first attempt at trying to become a world champion, and ironically, he was fighting for the same belt that he actually won earlier today, which is the IBF one, right? And, you know, of course, Ogawa got the decision. A lot of people thought Ogawa lost the fight. Shortly after, he was stripped and suspended because his dumbass tested positive for a synthetic testosterone. So that allowed Tevin Farmer, who was ranked number 4, and Billy Dib, who was ranked number 3 by the IBF, the number 1 and 2 spots were vacant. It allowed those two guys to be able to fight for the vacant title, which is what we saw this morning, right? Now, while a lot of people thought Tevin Farmer won against Ogawa, you know, I was looking at a lot of things he was doing in there, and he was allowing Ogawa to get a lot of opportunities because he wasn't using the fluid movement that he used against, for example, Ivan Redcock, right? Now, the Redcock fight was a fight in which I got turned on to Tevin Farmer. Now, I did think Tevin Farmer was a decent fighter, but I didn't think he was serious at 130 pounds until he knocked out Ivan Redcock. You know what I'm saying? And he did it, you know, using his brain, using fluid movement. He had excellent punch placement. And this is a guy that only has, I believe, 6 knockouts and 26 wins, or 5 knockouts and 26 wins. One of the two. But his punch placement is excellent. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I figured, hey, you know, shit, even though he doesn't have a lot of pop and snap on his punches, the fact that he's real slick, he uses great movement, he's a good defensive fighter. You know what I'm saying? He utilizes excellent upper body movement. He uses lateral movement, punches. He sets everything up behind the jab, and then on top of that, he has good punch placement. Yeah, this motherfucker gonna be a problem at 130. But then he fought Ogawa, and I saw him sitting in the pocket, allowing Ogawa to impose his will on him. You know what I'm saying? Leaving himself open a lot more than he normally does when he's being elusive on the outside, right? And it showed me that maybe he just doesn't like pressure. Well, in this Billy Dib fight, it was the same sort of thing, although I thought Tevin Farmer won the fight pretty handily. You know what I'm saying? He beat Billy Dib easily, but it was an ugly fight, if you get what I'm saying. You know, Billy Dib, before this fight, he hired Jeff Fennick. If you guys don't know who Jeff Fennick is, he's the guy who had the record for achieving the accolade of being a 3-weight champion, the fastest in the history of boxing. I think he did it in 20 fights. Oscar De La Hoya did it in 22 fights, right? Recently, Vasyl Lomachenko just broke that record when he defeated Jorge Linares. And then now my man over at 112 pounds, Kosei Tanaka, he's getting ready to fight WBO champion Sho Kimura in October. And when he beats Sho Kimura, he's going to actually tie Vasyl Lomachenko's record, right? But anyway, Jeff Fennick was a guy that previously had that record. He was in Billy Dib's corner, and he completely changed the way Billy Dib normally fights for this particular fight, right? If you remember Billy Dib when he fought Evgeny Gradovich, when he was the IBF champion and he was signed with whack-ass 50 Cent SMS Promotions, he was a guy that fought at mid-range distance. He was a boxer for mid-range distance. And he liked to use a little bit of flashiness in his style, right? Well, in this fight, he was like full-on aggression, trying to walk Tevin Farmer down and dig into the body. That was his style in this fight. We did not see any version of the old Billy Dib in this particular fight. And rightfully so. To be honest with you, was the right game plan, because Tevin Farmer, typically he's a mover. So when you're fighting a mover, you want to apply effective, and the key word is effective aggression, to put that mover on his back foot. Then on top of that, you want to dig to the body so that later on in the fight, it stagnates his movement. He's not moving as much, and it puts him on the center line, and it opens up opportunities for you, right? That's the right game plan. So Jeff Fennick had the right thing in mind for his fighter, but the problem was Billy Dib was not applying effective aggression. He was real sloppy with his aggression. He was coming in with his hands down, and he was getting caught while he was coming in. Now, the reason why I say it was an ugly fight on Billy Dib's behalf, because of the sloppiness, and he was a little bit dirty. The referee had to admonish him a couple times for his dirty tactics. But on Tevin Farmer's end, it was sloppy because his movement wasn't as fluid. Again, I saw the same problem I saw in the Kenichi Ogawa fight. You know what I'm saying? Sitting in the pocket a little bit too long, getting caught up in exchanges. I don't want to see Tevin Farmer doing that, a nigga with only 6 fucking knockouts or 5 knockouts or 26 wins. I don't want to see you sitting in the pocket, dog. You don't have the power, right? Even if you're sitting down on your shots, you still don't have the power. Now, people who watch this fight, they may disagree with me, because Tevin Farmer did knock down Billy Dib in this fight, but I'm going to explain exactly why that happened. I tell you cats numerous times on this channel, if somebody places a punch in 3 spots on your body, right? I'm talking about your entire physical form, nigga, not just your body, your lower half, your entire physical form. If they place 3 shots on your entire physical form in 3 places, or at least shots in 3 places, one of the 3 places, that's going to be the jaw, preferably the jawline below the earlobe, right? You got the temple, and then you got the liver. It could be a dude with Paulie Malignaggi type of power. In this case, it could be a dude with Tevin Farmer type of power, right? 100% feather-fisted. If they place a shot there perfectly, it will make a motherfucker with the strongest chin feel that shot, right? Some motherfuckers are gonna get wobbled. Some motherfuckers are actually gonna fucking get dropped, right? Dudes with strong chins, what you see happen to them, they back off. Like Gennady Golovkin was hit in the back of the jaw below the earlobe a couple of times against Canelo Alvarez. He would back off whenever Alvarez was up against the ropes. He was hit there, right? His chin is strong enough to where he won't get dropped. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to knock Golovkin down. You know what I'm saying? He has one of the most granite chins in boxing. But it stopped his offensive attack. That's why a lot of niggas was tripping why he didn't go to the body on Canelo when he was tired up against the ropes. It's because he was getting hit in one of those spots. You know, Canelo's he has excellent punch placement when he's counterpunching, right? So, in this case of Billy Dib, he actually went down, and it was a delayed reaction. He got hit in the jaw, and then maybe like a half a second later, that's when you see his legs give out and he crumbles to the mat. It had nothing to do with the power of Tevin Farmer, although he did sit down on that left hook he landed to get the knockdown. It didn't have anything to do with the power. It was where he placed the shot. And that's one thing that he does still have. He still has good punch placement, even though, in my opinion, he's having problems still trying to be that elusive, slick fighter from the outside, right? So while he did win this fight, the movement issues is what made me believe it was a sloppy win. You know what I'm saying? So he is, of course, the new IBF champion. Let's get to what Tank Davis said, though. You know, a couple days ago, we did report on 3kingsboxing.com that Tank said that he's looking to move up to lightweight, 135 pounds, right? But on one condition, and that condition being that if Tevin Farmer wins the IBF title, he would not move up. He would stick around at junior lightweight, 130 pounds, and he would look for a unification bout. Of course, Tank is the WBA super 130-pound champion, right? So, with Tevin Farmer actually winning, the IBF title, I'm expecting Tank not to go back on his word. You know what I'm saying? And of course, this is an excellent fight that can cap off a fucking long-standing beef that's been happening for about 2 years now, right? Of course, you know what I'm saying? Y'all remember Tank and Tevin going back and forth on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Tevin was saying that Tank didn't want to fight him. And, Tank was like, man, you ain't nobody, man. Get you a belt first. Get your rankings up first. Then you can fuck with me. And at that point in time, I did agree with Tank because, Tevin was a guy that he lost his first professional fight. And then he went on to lose all 4 of his fights that he has. And within the first 12 fights that he had, I believe, or the first 10 or something like that, right? And his last loss, of course, was, I believe, in 2008. It was 2008, 2010. I can't remember. YouTube, correct me if I'm wrong. But he lost to Jose Pedraza. He got knocked out in like the 8th round, right? And of course, ironically, Jose Pedraza is the guy that Tank beat to become a world champion for the first time in his career. So, of course, Tank is like, man, you lost to the nigga that I knocked out. I pummeled this motherfucker. He barely landed a shot on me. You got knocked out by that cat, man. Get your name up, dog. You know what I'm saying? Get your weight up. And I agree with Tank. And I don't technically, I don't agree with Tank often. Y'all know that. You know what I'm saying? And, now Tevin is on like a shit, man. That nigga on like a 15-win streak. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't lost in years, right? And now it's capped off into him becoming a world champion. So he's done what Tank has asked him to do, right? And remember, they got into an altercation. I believe it was like a post-Vasyl Lomachenko fight. I think it was a Loma fight because I remember when they got into that face-to-face altercation, I was wondering, like, why the fuck is Tank even arguing with this nigga, man? You should be trying to get at Lomachenko. You were at the fight, nigga, right? And then, of course, it was a whack-ass altercation. Tevin was trying to act like he was getting the Tank. Tank was trying to act like he was getting the Tevin. In my opinion, Tevin trying to get the Tank was much more authentic. You know what I'm saying? Gervonta was talking shit and walking away and then trying to act like he was turning around when he was already like, 100 feet away. He was trying to act like he was trying to get back at Tevin. And it's like, man, nobody was holding you back, man. You could have went at the dude if you wanted to, just that dumb little nigga shit. And then, of course, when Tevin got shot in the hand last July, stupid ass Tank went on Twitter right after the shit happened and said some dumb shit to the effect of, you gotta learn how to move in these streets. Basically, the dumb motherfucker was, indirectly implicating himself as the shooter before people actually realized that the shooter was a family member of Tevin Farmer's, and he happened to shoot Tevin due to some type of domestic dispute that they had. But he put that Twitter post out there before people found out that it was actually a family member that shot him. So niggas was actually walking around thinking that, Tank was the guy that shot him. And of course, Tank deleted the tweet because his stupid ass would have spotlighted himself if authorities would have got their fucking hands on it, right? Just dumb little nigga shit like that, Tank was doing in this beef. So it's like, bro, you got an opportunity. You already said what you said. You got an opportunity to cap this beef off, you know what I'm saying, by beating him. And in my opinion, I think he beats the shit out of Tevin Farmer. I'm not a fan of Tanks. Y'all know that. I go at Tank and Adrian Broner. Not often, but I got videos of both of those guys when I'm going at them. You know what I'm saying? But if I had to root for somebody, I would root for Tevin Farmer. But at the same time, you got to be realistic. You know what I'm saying? This channel is objective. Even though I get it, cats, it's still an objective channel. And being the objective person that I am, I know Tank is going to beat the shit out of Tevin Farmer. You know what I'm saying? If Tevin goes into that fight moving the way he's moved in the last 2 fights, right? There's no way that he's going to be able to get into an exchange in the pocket with a guy as powerful at 130 pounds as Tank Davis. It's just not going to happen. Not only do I think Tank is going to beat Tevin Farmer if this fight happens, I believe he stops him late in the fight. I give him around 9 or 10. I think that Tevin is going to look good early on. I think he understands that the game plan is to move. But I think this new Tevin Farmer is a guy who wants to be exciting at heart. And he's going to have a lot of emotions going into this fight because he genuinely doesn't like Tank Davis. So his emotions, I believe, are going to get the best of him, just like most Philadelphia fighters do. They let emotions get the best of them, and they make bad decisions. Philadelphia fighters, they kind of remind me in terms of how they let their emotions get in the way of their logical ability, or their way to execute a game plan based on logics. It reminds me of Detroit fighters. They do the same shit. You know what I'm saying? If they get into a fight where emotions are running wild, they will allow that to get in the way of them, thinking how to execute a game plan on a logical level, right? We saw this with Tony Harrison, you know what I'm saying, against Jared Hurd, right? We saw this against on a Philly example, J-Rock versus Jamal Charlo, right? So those two regions of America, they're kind of similar in terms of how their fighters, they got this machismo that they want to let people understand, like, hey, man, I'm an alpha male in this motherfucker. And the whole logical game plan goes out the window. I think the same thing will happen with Tevin Farmer against Tank Davis. Of course, like I said, he does have excellent punch placement, but I don't think Tank's not as dumb as Billy Dib. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Tank is a better fighter than Billy Dib. I was never high on Billy Dib ever since Evgeny Gradovich took that fight on 2 weeks' notice and beat him, and then they rematched, and Gradovich knocked his ass out. You know what I'm saying? I was never high on Billy Dib. That was back in like 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. And I never thought he was a smart fighter just because of those two fights. But Tank is more of a smart fighter, or more of a cerebral fighter, let me say that, than Billy Dib is. So I believe that he will not get caught flush in one of those three places from a Tevin Farmer. I believe that he will employ a style that's much more effective than what Billy Dib was trying to do in this fight earlier today. The effective aggression that Gervonta Tank Davis will be able to apply is going to be much better than Billy Dib's. He has much better pop and snap on his shots, and his punch placement is better than Billy Dib's. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think Tevin Farmer will be able to get away from a Tank Davis, nor will his shots be able to have enough pop on them to be able to tame the effective aggression of Tank Davis. I'm not saying that Tank is going to go in there like Marcos Maidana or nothing like that, but he's going to apply a cerebral attack to where his aggression is effective enough to where it's going to wear Tevin down in the middle rounds, and then eventually it's going to get him stopped late. That's just how I see it. But, of course, Tank is going to have to keep his word. All right? YouTube, do what you do in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this topic anyway. And one thing I want to get out there is this. You know what I'm saying? I know I've been getting a lot of messages from my followers and subscribers of this channel. Man, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. You know what I'm saying? I do this for y'all. I got 3 Kings up and running for y'all. And that's primarily where a lot of my time goes. I do a lot of work for 3 Kings. I'm the sole owner. I am the developer, the writer, the senior editor, or a writer anyway, the senior editor. You know what I'm saying? I do a lot of the sharing. I do a lot of the work, and the development portion of my workload takes a lot of my time. And it will be the time that I allocate to do these videos on Prodigy. You know what I'm saying? So just bear with me. I'm trying to find some sort of balance where I can hop on and talk to you guys. But if you're waiting on my videos or waiting for me to break a fight down, there's a possibility that I probably broke that fight down in written form on 3kingsboxing.com, or one of my writers had broken that fight down on the website. You know what I'm saying? So while you're waiting on my videos, waiting on me to talk about certain events, waiting on me to break fights down or give a critical analysis, go ahead and keep checking 3kingsboxing.com and make sure we didn't put it in written form. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and check the Movement Sports Umbrella podcast on Blog Talk Radio. Make sure we didn't talk about it on there. Make sure I didn't talk, you know what I'm saying, on Truth and Fat Sports Talk, the show by my man Bout. I might hop on there and talk about some shit. I might hop on Colossal Sports TV, my man Big Cool's YouTube channel. I might talk some shit on there. You know what I'm saying? So just because I might not be putting up videos on Prodigy in a timely manner, I'm probably doing a lot of work and a lot of different sources, man. So make sure y'all checking all of those sources. Definitely make sure you checking every day. Every day. Get on 3kingsboxing.com. Log in, comment on some articles. Let me know how y'all feel, man. Because we cooking. We putting a lot of content out there. And there's a lot of shit that even if I was active on my channel every single day that I wouldn't be talking about. That's on 3 Kings, because there's just so much news that we put out on a daily basis. All right, I'm really out of here, man. I gotta get back in this building. Do what you do in the comment section. Let me know what you think. This is real talk for real fans. 1.